say what? Look. I'm on tour right now.
It's New OGs. New OGs is a State Madison Entertainment production and is brought to you by Solar Masters. Look, Illinois is changing how people get their electricity, and Solar Masters is helping homeowners in Illinois take advantage of a program that lets them get solar power at no cost. If you're a single-family homeowner in the state of Illinois, you can lower your electric bill, you can raise the value of your home, and you can do something good for the environment without paying a single dollar out of your pocket to do so. In fact, Solar Masters can only work with you if they can save you money. Solar Masters is Black-owned and a SunPower dealer, an American panel maker with over 30 years of solar experience. They even have a referral program that pays out as much as $500 per referral. So head over to www.gosolarmasters.com. Yes, sir.
Bobby!
Yes, sir.
Hey, Dad.
Yeah.
Gotta make sure we gotta do this. We gotta make sure you got this right. You said these people could save money on their electric bill every month.
They can save money on electric. Yep, that's true. They can save money on electric bill every month.
They could do something to help the environment, which is in dire need.
That is also true. They can do something to help the environment, which is in dire need of help.
Even if they don't do this, they don't qualify. They don't even have to have a roof. But if they refer somebody that does, and that person gets solar, you can get $500 every time you do it.
Yeah, if you refer somebody who gets solar, whether you go solar or not, you get $500 for everyone. And in fact, you get to $20,000 of that tax-free because it's all digital.
That is amazing. Man, that is better than... Wait a minute. Where the fuck are y'all at? What is going on, man? How come y'all not at the studio? I'm not at the studio. Why are y'all not at the studio?
We're down in Indianapolis, man. We're down in Indianapolis. We have a show tonight at Crackers.
Oh, that's right. Crackers.
That's right.
Down in Indianapolis.
We'll be the two non-crackers there.
Oh, you gonna confuse a whole bunch of crackers and crackers.
So yeah, they're gonna be struggling with everything going on.
It's gonna be motherfuckers throwing their NASCAR hats down and shit.
It's gonna be one of them deals where we're gonna find out how they really feel about me because they're gonna tell Bobby.
Well, listen to this. If you want to have the type of money that allows you to go see Rob Hines wherever he performs live, get over to www.gosolarmasters.com. Get in contact for a free consultation or to refer somebody that you know. We are also brought to you by People of Comedy. You can get over to People of Comedy on Facebook. See all the great shows they have offered there. Check in daily. They've got a new, fresh podcast all the time. James, what's the newest podcast you guys have on the channel right now?
Live from the DMs has been kicking off real strong. Ty Riggs, Christian Royce, and Kyron Harrell. By the way, if you're in Chicago and you haven't seen this kid, and he is a kid, Kyron Harrell perform, get your ass out to wherever you can find Kai, dude. Kai is hilarious. But yeah, live from the DMs every other Monday-ish on People of Comedy at 8 o'clock.
I was high and just like going through, and I saw it, and I swear to God, I was literally just telling somebody earlier today, Ty Riggs, funny cat, man.
Dude, he rips, dude.
He's kind of like the OG on that show, and I didn't realize because I thought he was younger than he is, and then I heard him talking. I was like, wait a second, hold on, Ty.
Yeah, Ty keeps up, dude. For sure.
Man. Well, get over to People of Comedy, check out all their stuff they've got going on. X-Man, how you doing? It looks like you're back in the undisclosed garage location.
Undisclosed garage location. Yeah, man. I knew you guys weren't gonna be in the studio today, so I was like, I'm not driving in traffic by my goddamn self.
You know, like last week when I drove all the way down from Milwaukee to neither people that live within an hour of the actual location.
I saw that happen to you, and I was like, not me. No, sir.
I can see. Send the beige one down to be the canary in the coal mine.
No. Y'all ain't finna do this to me either. Look, I was in a car that didn't make it. I was on my way. The horse just fell. You know what I'm saying? I was on my way.
I'll be honest. I wasn't even thinking about it. My dumb ass person with a degree and career marketing didn't even think about that. I should have just come down there tonight. And even though I'm not on the show, it would have been a good promotion thing, and we could have shot it from the club. And I was being stupid. I'm at home doing nothing. I just stayed at home and watched Black Widow.
Well, listen, man, you brought it up to blame yourself with, so you can go on with it. You were like, hey, man, whatever. X come down tomorrow. What a good deal. I was sitting here just like, man, this man's got a good ass deal. He just gotta show up tomorrow at like 8 o'clock and do a show, turn around, drive a few hours home. It's all good.
Well, hopefully we have a great turnout, and maybe I don't drive home. Maybe
hey, you never know, man. It's a wild, wild world. I make it ass to stay myself. You know, I got
birds are fun.
You know, there is something. It's funny. It's always interesting when you go out. Like, it's one thing. Like, I just met Rob down here on the road to just do this show, and then I'm going back. But like, there's times when you go on the road with people, and you're just like, all right, what level of after show interesting are you trying to be? You know what I mean? Are you like, let's go and fucking, we ain't got to be nowhere till like 6 o'clock tomorrow type of interesting? Or are you like, I got to get some sleep so I can get up and like do some shit tomorrow morning type of interesting? Because I like the former.
There you go. There you go. I'm not going on the road with anybody that's like looking for the gym when we check in the hotel. Like, oh, nigga, you gonna be up at 6 a.m. in the gym? All right, fuck you. I will be at the bar.
I mean, it's one thing if you're like, I'm gonna get a workout in, but it's gonna be like at the time I wake up, not like.
Yeah. The gym will be there at noon.
No, there's no reason for that, man. Yeah. So, what's going on with you, man? You down here in Indianapolis? You high as hell?
Yeah, man. I'm buzzing. I'm trying to remember the last 3 subjects that I wanted to comment on. That's how I am. This is interesting. So I'm watching Bobby do what he does normally. And every time I see it, I'm like, wow, I didn't even know you could put all them windows open. I know this stuff could be happening at the same time. You know what I mean? I be thinking like, I'd have got 4 or 5 windows open. I'm stressing this thing. Find out, it can take about 40 more. Look at that Bobby.
Yeah, it's so normally when we're doing this, I'm by my, either A, I'm setting this up by myself, or B, I'm on the side of a table by myself where nobody's with me. So for the last week or 2 weeks ago was the first time that you were on the same side of the table as me and saw me doing it in the studio. But me from home, like, I mean, we got this setup is not.
It's a lot of stuff.
I brought down the whole kit, James. I got the fucking soundboard here. I've got we got 2 lights going. We got the mic going over.
It looks good.
We got the whole thing happening here. So.
I'm like, wow, okay. I mean, I felt I was getting something done just to have my lighting proper, doing stuff like. No, I've just only scratched the surface.
Yeah, it's I had to make sure I didn't want to come down here and make it look bogus. You know what I mean? Like, if we're gonna do this, if I'm gonna get up and drive down here and leave my house at 9 o'clock in the morning, which is usually when I'm in bed late looking at Twitter from the night before. I got to make sure it looks right. You know what I mean?
You dig? I'm amazed at this. In addition to that, we are at Crackers Comedy Club. For those who are in Indianapolis, who knows somebody in Indianapolis, who may have a friend that possibly is in Indianapolis that got a car, y'all come down to Crackers Comedy Club. We're going to dip you off into some funk.
Hey, man, if you ain't got a car, get Uber. They got Uber in Indianapolis.
Are they still
they got, what's the other one?
Lyft.
They got Lyft.
They got the one that's losing to Uber. That's what they got. They got Uber and second place to Uber. That's what they got.
They might even got motherfuckers that just come drive you around, man.
Yeah, man.
What's that called, Rob? They had that in the hood. The cats that just come pick you up. It's something, handsome cab or some shit like that.
I do not know. I'm pre-app hood.
No, yeah. I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about this shit was before. This is some back in the day shit. I think they call it handsome cab.
Oh, you talking about them black cars used to come in and drive you around the hood. I can't remember what they call them. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's some hood shit. It was like it's like you call a number, they come pick you up, take your mom to the grocery store or something like that.
Yeah, I think they stopped all that shit because it's crazy out in the hood these days, man. July 4th was crazy. Did you do anything for July 4th, X?
When was that?
You know we smoke weed.
Wait, when was that? July 4th?
Sunday. Damn. Yeah, Sunday, last Sunday.
Nah, man, I ain't do a motherfucking thing. Because we had Juneteenth this year. So, fuck. What did we do that for?
Right? Like, it's a weird, like, it's July, like, for some reason, July 4th this year seems like it got super weird because of the last, I mean, it's not odd to me, but also, like, it seems like July 4th hit different this year.
I'm actually kidding. I still would do July 4th. I don't know. It's weird. I think people got way more comfortable in the quarantine mode than we want to collectively admit because everything was low key as fuck, man. Like there was barbecues and stuff happening, but I don't think it was as it was in years past, or maybe I just didn't get an invite or something like that. But I didn't even see it in my neighborhood. Like there wasn't like like parking, like driveways full of cars and shit like that. Like there usually is.
So they were doing all the shooting in your neighborhood.
They did step off with the shooting and the fireworks until about like 1:30, I think.
I'm not talking about fireworks.
Well, I it's one of those things where I don't want to admit, because it's way more guns out here than it is in Inglewood. They're just legally acquired, and and they shoot a lot. But yeah, it's I don't know how much of that. I don't know what it was. I don't know.
I mean, it turns out that there are I guess there's over 180 people killed in shootings across the country over 4th of July over the weekend. Which is too many, obviously. That's more than
I can't. It's not called Chicago Patch. It's Chicago Scanner. Chicago Scanner was trending on Twitter, and there were so many fucking calls of people who blew their hands, blew a finger off. One literally said, "You guys can look this up on Twitter." And it was a hashtag Chicago Scanner. Some dude basically, I don't know if he had fireworks in his mouth or whatever, but the lady said there was literally sparks coming out of some guy's mouth. So I don't think that
you're talking about fireworks. I'm talking about straight up shootings that were going on over the weekend. No, 180 shootings, 95 in Chicago. At least 95 people shot in Chicago over the weekend.
Wait. It was 180 and only half of them was in Chicago? I think that's a win.
180 people were killed in shootings across the country.
And half of them in Chicago.
95 people shot in Chicago. Now, some of them 95 gonna live, but that's still too many people shot in Chicago. We have a violence issue going on in the city right now. And it's weird because it seems like this shit pops up when progress is being made all of a sudden, right? We're on the verge of recognizing blackness and things like Juneteenth and taking down certain statues and erecting others and getting, trying to get right with some shit. And all of a sudden it seems like, the most dangerous levels of violence are popping up again. Is there, do you think that has to do with anybody setting something off, or is that just a coincidence?
Here's the thing.
Told to us.
I think that they kind of mirror each other. I think the fact that so many people are sitting at home realizing black people do got it kind of crappy, and we should probably do something about it. And that matched with the fact that them being at home, some people, those same people you trying to advocate for, been at home and they wasn't getting paid. They wasn't getting nothing. And they hungry.
Here goes
now they out in the street committing crime based on the fact they didn't have anything.
So here goes Here goes my Hotep moment. I'm going to wear the Hotep hat right now. I'm going to suggest to you that nothing changed whatsoever. All of those things have always existed. It is not more intense now. There used to be this old dude. It was just like an old wise cat they used to talk to. He was actually a business partner with a friend of mine, and he used to tell us about shit all the time. He also happened to be a drummer in one of the bigger churches out here, right? And he said that he told us one time, he said, I got more. He was not a religious guy at all. He was just a drummer in the band at the church. And he said, I have more control over the congregation than the preacher does. And he's like, what are you talking about? He goes, if I want them jumping and shouting, I play hard and fast. If I want them resting and listening to the soul, I do a slow tempo. And it's like when I'm playing, I get them the mood that he need for that. And like he was telling us about it, he could do the tempo. And the reason why I told that story, that I'm using this as an analogy, I believe the news and how they report it does the exact same thing to the population. They want us upset about something. So now we start finding out about shit that had been happening the entire fucking time. Okay. People in those neighborhoods will tell you all of that shit has always been happening, but we're hearing about it more now because somebody has an agenda that wants us to feel a certain way. They want white voters to feel a certain way, to back away from some of the things that they were doing. So they started reminding them.
There's a lot of people who got shot across the country, though. That's a lot in the weekend.
And I'm saying, I don't think those. I would suggest if we looked at numbers, like if we don't hear about it, but I bet you those are not different than if you look at that weekend last year or 2-3 years ago.
It would be vastly different than that weekend last year.
Last year for sure. 2020 is an outlier, obviously because of COVID. But if you look at 19, 18, 17,
Dick,
I challenge that those numbers are very different.
I feel what you're saying. You can do that. You can do that with certain crimes, right? Like when you're ready to charge the people up, you charge them up by changing the way you categorize a crime, right? Mm-hmm. So if you want to categorize, like if your stuff gets stolen while you walk down the street, we call it a burglary. Burglary don't seem as important as it would if your shit was when they broke into your house and took it.
2017, 100 wounded, 14 killed over July 4th weekend. So we had 95 people shot, I think, in Chicago. Is that the number?
Mm-hmm. And how many kills?
95 shot. I don't have the kill number sitting in front of me, but it was 95 shot. So 100 wounded on July 4th of 2017, 87 in 2020. So a little bit further down. I mean, you know.
So the numbers are the same, right?
Pretty close. You're not. I'm not. I mean, I pulled up 1 year, so I'm not telling you. 10 killed, 55 wounded in 2015.
Well, that's a jump. That was something happened.
60 shot in 2016, 100 in 2017. So it seems like it's been rising a little bit, but like, you know, 195.
What happened in 2016 and 2017 that changed?
Somebody got mad. What happened in 2016, 2017? I wonder.
Thanos showed up.
74 people shot in 2013. So like, you know, within 20% of where the numbers generally are, if we're being about what, so you're not, I wouldn't say you're entirely wrong, honestly. You know what I mean? Like you have an argument to say that like this isn't actually that much crazier than it's been in the past.
Yeah, and I think there right now is a focus where they want people scared. They want people afraid. They want people afraid because they associate, and this is where like racism, it just makes people stupid because somehow they're trying to associate crime with the progressive agenda. But not just Black Lives Matter, just black people doing
black
better,
agenda,
which is completely reverse. Why, if we did better as a society, why, if we got more opportunity, would crime go up? That makes no fucking sense.
I also agree with what Rob said. Like, there are people who are like, there are a bunch of black people who are at home who saw this holiday come up and are very upset with like some things that like, there is a thing about having like, being black, having history taught to you a certain way, and then the anger that comes with getting to an age where you probably should have been told earlier about how, like, you already knew it was fucked up, right? Like, oh, I was fucked. But then, like, you get some deeper information about how fucked up it was, or who they suppressed, or who they killed. You know, there are a lot of people that know shit about Huey Newton until last year. They were black. They knew their racist shit happened. They knew some of the shit. They know who fucking Huey Newton. You know what I mean? A doc and a movie last year, right? Like, Trial of Chicago, like, there's a number of things that have come out over the past year, largely because of what has been going on, that have opened up a lot of black people's eyes too, who were upset, but not as upset as like they're realizing, oh, this is like systemic and people aren't listening. And unfortunately, you know, it'd be great if everybody had the wherewithal and the mental capacity and capability to like politely express their discontent.
Right.
But unfortunately, one of the things you have to deal with when you're in an oppressive place, fucking with people over 400 years, is that there is going to be some pushback that you find to be distasteful to your liking at some time. And that's not to say it's okay, but you also have to be like, you know, if you keep picking on your little brother, right? And they get fed up and explode and yell some shit, and all of a sudden they're crying. Like, are you going to make fun of them because they're crying, or they lashed out and broke something of yours? Or like, yeah, they shouldn't have broke it. But also, like, you know why they're fucking upset, right? Like, like it's not like they're just like, everything's peachy. Let's go fuck up some white people shit. That is not what's going on.
At all. I don't know, man. I see it like, you know, I don't think anybody cares. Like, I don't think anybody that matters cares, because it would have changed. You know what I mean? Like that. So, I mean, it just, to me, I'm just at this point where I'm like, well, let's ride it out and see what happens, because there ain't nothing you can do about it. And then
See, I disagree. I disagree with that extensively, man. To say nobody cares, it is a difference between nobody cares and not enough of the right people care. That I honestly believe, like, okay, here I go capering for the Biden administration. I honestly believe that old dude thinks that he could try to make like the world a little bit better. I honestly believe he believes that. Like, I think he's earnest.
I don't disagree with you.
And so, like, he has these grandiose ideas of, hey, I have this idea. I'm going to pump all this money into the black community and give them opportunity and get them jobs. I believe he really wants to do that. And the problem is there are people, and there's a variety of reasons. Like, we put everything in racism in one box, but there are people who are just purely political operatives, and there's not enough incentive in their world that shit makes a difference for him. It should make a difference for him as a person, but like if we look at Joe Manchin, the black vote don't mean a motherfucking thing to Joe Manchin at all. Joe Manchin could pull his dick out and say, fuck you niggas, and not lose a single vote in West Virginia.
He doesn't need, he doesn't need the black vote in West Virginia. That's not
so he doesn't need the black, so the black vote doesn't mean squat, and he's never going to be anything other than the senator from West Virginia. Maybe he'll get to be the governor one day when the dude that's the governor now dies or quits.
Yeah, but I think that Biden is trying to take advantage right now of a black electorate that is split generationally and on a class level, and I think that creates some of the issues in what we're talking about. Because like he would like it better if all the black people were participating in the capitalist system the same way that everybody else is. But there's a misstep in understanding that like the system needs more restructuring than he is interested in trying to do, I feel, or that he's not been talked into doing yet. You know what I mean?
He's a capitalist, and I know we have a negative view of capitalism. We share that. But I will say that from a capitalist point of view, they believe that more money solves all problems, right? And so his mindset is, if I create a lot of economic opportunity and I flood a bunch of government sanctioned, like force people to like have to do shit with them, and I give them all this opportunity, it's going to do some good. And I don't think he's wrong. And if this infrastructure bill goes through, we'll see. We'll get to see. He
was in Illinois, so he's trying to pitch his case. You know what I mean?
He was in a red area, like a purple area, Illinois. Like Crystal Lake did not vote. They probably didn't vote for him. Or it was a mixed bag for sure.
So here's the thing, man. They already know what it's going to take to make it better. They knew that before. They've done it before. It's happened before. They know exactly what to do to make the economy be the perfect amount for everybody. Or at least for more than what it is now.
White slavery.
Right. That's exactly what it is. That's what it is. But ultimately,
I ain't sold my material yet, niggas.
Ultimately, that's what it is. But what happens is if you allow more people to have more money, they're going to spend it. And if they spend it, then everybody around you, including the wealthy, particularly the wealthy, are going to get it right back and get more of it.
Here's my issue with the way I think Biden approaches things is that he still approaches things like the goal of his opposition is based into particularly trying to prevent black success. You know what I mean? Like, there's not enough rational, like the way that there are people who now are working in Congress who feel like they struggle to get any bill done or passed because the idea of working with people that stood up for an insurrection is hard for them. Yeah. And, this thing where Democrats are like, well, we're just going to keep treating them like they have good intentions keeps fucking them over. And he's still not yet willing to realize that these guys that he used to get a steak with and used to kick it with and have a drink with or whatever the fuck they did at night, chilling and talking and bullshit with Mitch McConnell and all his boys and shit. Like, when it comes time to show up, these dudes are out to stop whatever the fuck. They have one goal and one goal in mind, and that is to stop whatever the fuck these guys are doing so they can reclaim power. That's it.
I think I think wait, it is impossible for me to believe that the Democratic Party doesn't understand that, and that Biden doesn't understand. He's not a moron. Clearly, and he sees what Mitch McConnell says. He sees what they do. I think that this is a strategy by the Democrats because there's people like us who watch this shit left and right, and we get news alerts and we watch shows and we read shit, and then there's the rest of fucking America who still doesn't even know what QAnon is. And that's a much bigger population than we maybe fully understand. There's a reason why there's still
I don't know. I think the percentage of the nation actually knows what QAnon is at this point is scarily high. It's way more high than
I don't know if it is, man. I don't know if it is. Like, at the most, there's probably like 10. No, I don't even think it's 10 million QAnon people. It's like it's 5.
I don't mean QAnon people. I mean people that have heard
I'm saying, so there's 5 million actual QAnon people, right? Like, I'm talking about the actual people.
You're just making up numbers, dog. You're just making up numbers for nothing. You have no frame of reference for any of it.
No, because there was like a thing. There was literally like a thing. Like, they said that there was like 5 million fucking followers. I'm not making that number up. Like, I'm like, that's what, if you like watch the documentaries and shit, there's like 5 million, blah, blah, blah. Right? That's what I'm saying. So if there's like 5 million actual QAnon, if you go that exponentially, let's say 75 million people from around the circle of those people have heard of that shit. There's 330 million people in the country, man. Like, I know these are numbers that I'm making up, but I'm saying that could be a bubble that we are not seeing. I mean, there's people. I'm saying
40% of that 300 million is under 18 too. So like,
basically what I'm trying to get at, I'm going a really long way to say
you are.
I think what Biden is trying to do, and I think what the Democratic Party is trying to do is they want to be able to show in 2022 during the election cycle that, hey, look. They want to put big checks up and say, this is what we did, and this is what we tried to do, and these motherfuckers wouldn't let us. We need you to vote a few more times for us so we can get a few more motherfuckers so we don't need them anymore, and we can get this shit done for you because they clearly don't give a fuck about you. And I believe that's basically what they're trying. They're literally just trying to build a bunch of footage that they can put in commercials all through starting in 2022 of Mitch McConnell saying how he's not going to pay them no money and how he's not going to give in all their local motherfuckers who saying they're there for him, saying how they didn't vote for this shit. And just Biden saying, we're trying to work with them. We're trying to work. So they're going to have a loop of Biden trying to work with them. They're not working with them, but Biden's trying to work with them. And I think that's the game plan. And if it's not, then we need to burn this whole motherfucker down because
that's the only part I cared about was that second part right there because I don't.
If that's not the game plan, none of this shit makes sense. If that's not the game plan, none of this shit makes sense at all.
It does make sense. It does make sense because you need to keep the game going when you have so much money and the only concern is you losing it. That is the game plan. There is a show that, in my mind, there's a show that must be put on. And some of the motherfuckers may fall out, some may fall in, but the real deal is they need to put on a show. But at the end of the day, whether it works or doesn't work, they're still a millionaire. They're not going to be the people are going to be, they can come off of the Senate and then go work at CNN or go on K Street or whatever the fuck they can do any of that shit. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Because if that was really what was going on, these conversations that are leaked about Exxon talking about they meet with Chris Coons, who's close with Biden we meet with Manchin every week. That shit would not be a thing. It's a show, man. To me, it's a show. Listen, if it happens the way you're saying, and there's a bunch of people that are like, they're right. They didn't try and do all that shit. And these guys did. Mitch McConnell. Surprised out of nowhere, somehow I've realized that Mitch McConnell is a son of a bitch. Like, that would be amazing, but I just think that white supremacy doesn't work that way.
They smeared shit on the walls of the motherfucking Capitol. Dude, we can't, stop using reason and shit. This shit is not reasonable.
You want to talk about unreasonable?
I think you're making that group of people bigger than they are. I'm sorry for stepping on your segue.
I just think that it's not just QAnon that's the problem here. It's not just QAnon, Oath Keepers, 3%ers, their associated friends, cousins, and brothers. It's not a lot of people know about it, but Chris Pratt's brother's an oath keeper who makes shit for 3%ers or whatever. Like, it's just like, it's not that far away from as mainstream as anything else.
What I'm saying to you is, there is no way on earth that you should ever, any human being ever, should be able to go to the Capitol and smear shit on the wall. Now, dig this. It's not just the shit. It's not just the shit or the smearing of it. It's the fact that there is enough security in this country to make sure that would never happen, no matter who you are. And so what I'm saying to you is, they knew that they were coming and they were a part of bringing them there. Do you understand? And so what I'm saying to you is, don't put reason to any of this. It started out fucked up and they gave you a booster shot of fucked uptivity on the 6th of January. This shit has been the same all the while. All we do is count up the math of the bullshit.
Hey, what if January 6th was white people's, like, you ever see one of those dudes in a bar fight that like hits himself in the head with the bottle to prove how crazy he is?
That's not altogether as crazy as an idea.
That was white people's way. We'll tear this whole motherfucker down. We will tear this whole motherfucker down before we give you a goddamn thing.
I mean, that is that is the outlook of a lot of these organizations. I mean, that is the outlook of a lot of these organizations. And, you know, this is where we're at. You know, cases are rising again with COVID. Where are they rising the most? The place where people ain't getting no vaccine, right? It's the same people. You know what I mean? Like, you can say only 5 million people are in queue, but like, there's a lot of these motherfuckers ain't getting the vaccine. We low on the vaccine total. You know what I mean? And rates are rising because of it. And the people who are, if you're dying right now from COVID, it's because you ain't got a vaccine. Everybody else is running around wild.
Enjoying life.
Here's the thing. This is the thing. I'm gonna be real selfish right now, and I'm gonna talk to the non-vax people that are dying. Y'all fucking up a nice little joke I got that I don't feel comfortable saying anymore, because I want to talk about how stupid it is to die from this shit at this point, when there's literally like a magic thing that you can shoot in your arm that makes it so you don't die from it. Like, that seems like, I know, I'm an asshole. Look at you. Bobby's so uncomfortable right now.
No, I'm here for it.
I want to say that on stage, and I can't say it on stage because there's people actually still dying from it because they stupid ass won't take the fucking vaccine.
But see, there's two things I feel right now. One is, at this point, if you're gonna wear a mask somewhere, you're not gonna put it over your fucking nose. Just don't even fucking wear the mask, okay? What's the point? We all know at this point, like, you might as well just take it off. Why are you even pretending like you give a fuck if you're not even gonna wear it right?
I'm sorry. I get it. Can I interrupt you too? I just gotta say this real quick. I went to my son's basketball game yesterday, AAU little game, and when I walked in, I dropped him off, and I had to go around the park. So when I walk in without him, I noticed all the kids have their masks on, but they're all around there, like they're wearing them like chin straps. It's not over the mouth or nose, and they're in the layup line. And the coaches are all like this, and the kids in the stands are all like this. Nobody has the mask on. They all have masks, but nobody has them on boy. So I walk in without a mask. I don't even have one in the car. I'm vaccinated. I've been fucking following the news. I'm good. So I lean over to one of the coaches and I go, "Hey, so what's going on with the mask thing?" He goes, "When the game starts, everybody's gonna put them on." Blah, blah, blah. I was like, "You've been doing a layup line for 15 minutes with 20-something kids breathing just air in a gym.
Building. It's too late. You here now. Once you're in there and the door's locked and you're in there for 20 minutes.
And nobody has a mask on. Like, what? I was like, what the fuck is, like, and so I left. I didn't watch the game because I didn't even, like I said, I didn't even have one in the car. It was at a community center type thing. So there was like, they didn't sell them or anything like that. And I just didn't want to be the dick sitting there without a mask when everybody else put the mask on, even though there was no point in putting the fucking mask on.
See, at that point, I don't feel like I'm the dick because I already feel like you're too dumb for me to feel bad about what I'm doing. You know what I mean? Like, if I walk into a place and everybody's got their mask on here and I don't bring a mask, you're the idiot. I am more protected than you are. Whatever the fuck you're doing, you're the idiot. There is no
I get it, but like, that's still like, I don't want my son to like dad dude's at school. So, you know, such dad didn't fucking put his mask on. Yeah. Like, I don't know what that shit's
and
like.
And then you teach your son to be like, yeah, and the rest of y'all motherfuckers won't run your chin for half an hour.
Right. What difference?
Do you know how this shit works, you stupid motherfucker?
Fair enough. Fair enough.
People
Fair
kind
enough.
of dwell in stupidity and get mad when you take them out.
Yeah, people do hate. Like once people get to a certain level of this is how intelligent I'm trying to be, and if you introduce any higher level of intelligence, instead of just being like, "Oh wow, that's amazing," I'll file that away as some new. They're like, "Motherfucker, how dare you? You think I'm stupid?" It's like, well,
the principles that I live my life by,
not by force. Shit, you are.
You know, by the way, if you tell somebody something they clearly didn't know, and they say, "What do you think I'm stupid?" No, not until you said that. Before I just thought you were uninformed about this thing, but because you immediately took it to stupid, now I have questions.
Nah, I know you're stupid. Nah, no question.
Because an intelligent person wouldn't take that as thinking that they're stupid. They would take it as,
hey
you
man,
know,
I avoid Facebook arguments. I used to be into them. But this dude, you know, it's just so funny when somebody is well trained through college, but finds themselves against somebody who is actually intelligent. Now, I ain't saying nothing against college. Don't get me wrong. I'm saying it's a bunch of motherfuckers there that got trained and that wasn't that bright. You know what I'm saying? And so this dude is trying to tell me about how to be black. And in his process of telling me this, he tells me how educated he is and where from he has been educated. And I'm like, hey man, I don't give a fuck if you went to Harvard or wherever you went. You did not ever have to stop people from shooting other people. You've never had to see someone get stabbed. You've never, you know what I'm saying? It's a bunch of shit you've never seen. And so when I said all that, he was like, why is this always about race? I was like, hey man, have a good day. I ain't here to explain a goddamn thing to you.
Hey, have you been following what's been going on in Haiti at all?
Yes, man. They popped the president. Apparently, like I've seen some weird coverage about this because they assassinated the president, and you think, oh my God, what's going on? But then I saw like this one dude from Haiti. He was a commentator, and he was listing off all the crime. He was listing off so many crimes that the president had done that literally, like the show he was on, the guy was like, "I'm out of time. We gotta go. We're running into another show."
No more crimes.
And the dude was still just like, and he did this and this, so he wasn't mourning this cat at all. So the whole sniper team that went in and got him, the whole thing is kind of crazy.
Yeah, so the story of Haiti is wild because they didn't get free until like they had their slave revolt in like 1803 or something like that.
First
one. Still had, what's that?
The first one. The first slave colony like that to break free.
And then like France and the US were still like very much involved in all this shit going in there, right? Like propping up leaders and doing all this shit. And it wasn't until I think like 10 years ago or so where they finally shook free and were completely on their own. And we're electing. They
still owe France millions, like I think billions of dollars. And you know what they owe France billions of dollars for? Slavery.
Yeah. Well, the thing that really fucked them up though was the earthquake. When the earthquake hit, that's when all the money for like saving Haiti came through. So they got like $13 billion over the course of the last like 10 years to help go in there. And all the money did was basically just like prop up the government, and it didn't like. There's no rebuilding of infrastructure. They came in and they built some shit, but like there was no rebuilding of like the judiciary or like the executive branches. And so I think at one point there was like maybe 10 or 11 leaders in Haiti for like 11 million people, which is not enough. Like that was the whole of everything.
That was the whole structure.
Everybody running anything. And so
that's a warlord type shit.
Yeah, so there's also an issue of like a handful of families that run shit in Haiti as well. And this dude who is Moise, I think, or Moise or whatever, he was like his family had like a banana plantation or some shit. So he won the vote with only 18% of the population voted. He won the vote, but like narrowly. It took a year for him to get put into power. And then all of a sudden they start coming out with these stories where like millions of dollars are missing from the relief funds. So the thing is like, and this guy came out and was big on like, we got to stop the oligarchy. Because I listened to an interview today before he died, where he was like, it's the oligarchy that's a problem. We got to stop these people who are like sucking us dry, blah, blah, blah. So like you get in this point where you're like, all right, so did the rich family send them 50 people in there to get him because he was talking shit, and they set him up to look like a bad guy? Was he a bad guy? Nobody knows who's running Haiti right now. There were 2 Americans that were involved. It's like the wildest. Like, and they came in his crib and did it, which is usually when they get somebody, it's like a street bomb.
Yeah, they sent a strike team. They sent a strike team.
Crib, they came in yelling DEA, and here's what's wild is no matter where you are in the world, the one thing you can yell that could probably get you in if you have a strike team is DEA. The United States DEA, if they come for your ass, they let these dudes in, no shots. They were just like, oh, DEA, come right in. DA, yeah, come on right in. So the wife is still alive. She's alive right now.
Yeah. And
the kids are alive. I think the daughter went and hid with the brother or something, and they shot the wife, I think, twice, but she's alive right now.
Yeah,
but
in America.
Nobody's running Haiti.
Yeah, there's so much wrong with Haiti. People don't even know Haiti and Dominican Republic are the same island.
Here's the other part is that with there being a problem down there, it's only going to make the money that goes down there bigger. Because the last thing that these people that have been pumping money down there want to see is the place fall apart. So, capitalists, as you said before, have more money fixes problems. The chaos is going to create more money going down to Haiti.
I don't know how to fix Haiti because I just don't know, because if you say turn it into a resort town, but making it a resort destination is just like a country having oil. It winds up not being a good thing for the fucking country. Like Hawaiians don't love tourists.
I say we should
Bahamians don't love tourists.
We should just bring all my beige people down there and start the island.
Start the Island Mulat. Yeah.
Start the whole island. Yeah, I mean, crime pops out of everything. We're still dealing with crime here, man. The Florida GOP is calling the Capitol insurrectionists political prisoners. Did you see that story that I sent out?
Whoa, I did not see that. Oh.
Yeah, they're calling for release of political prisoners charged in the Capitol insurrection.
Dude.
Yep.
I mean, the politics they were supporting was fascism.
Yep. Again, I say there's quite a bit of police and military involved in this. And if that being the case, I'm saying it's a problem. It's a problem deep within the government.
It's insanely deep in the government because if you watch did you guys watch the New York Times thing that they released, I think last week with it's a chronological video of the attack, how it happens. Like it starts at the Trump rally and you can hear as Trump is saying stuff about we're going to march.
Oh yeah, I think I did see
stuff like that. And it goes all the way through and it shows the dude that actually started the exchange and stuff like that. There are parts of it where the police kind of did just let the motherfuckers through. And I remember, I think you said something, Rob, at the time, because I was very upset. Everybody was calling these motherfuckers heroes. And I was like, where were the heroes at? Because them motherfuckers didn't even draw a weapon. They didn't go out blasting and fighting. And I know you kept insisting that there were people there that had weapons and stuff like that. But in the one time that somebody busted a motherfucker, all them niggas froze up. When somebody shot at them, everybody froze up. I don't think those cats. I don't think it would have been the firefight that everybody keeps saying it was. I don't think they really wanted that. And as a matter of fact,
but it would have been a lot of lives lost for.
What I believe, these motherfuckers were attacking the Capitol.
It should
have been a bloodbath. If it was us, it would have been a bunch of people murdered.
And you're damn right.
And
I would have gone back to my rant though.
We wouldn't have. And I'm not saying it should have been a bloodbath because I don't like these people.
Right.
It's a bloodbath because I love my fucking country, man. And they got attacked. I don't give a fuck if these people claim to be Americans. They attacked the fucking Capitol.
This is the statement. There's an event going on. July 10th. It's being organized in part by Luis Miguel, a far-right candidate. He's actually challenging Marco Rubio in the GOP primary. This guy thinks Marco Rubio is not far enough to the right. Just so you want to understand how conservative this guy is.
Wow.
Here's what he posted on Twitter. Folks, the patriots who have been hunted down by the corrupt communist FBI are suffering, Miguel wrote on Twitter. Many of them are veterans who fought for this nation. Let's do our part to ensure they are liberated. We can't allow this in America. Be there at the Florida Capitol July 10th. That is crazy.
You said July 10th, so tomorrow.
Yep.
Yes,
They have a directional bomb that they can send anywhere they want to. So if you Marjorie Taylor Greene or whoever these people are, and you want to be on the right side of the bomb, you say whatever is required. And if you one of those people like Joe Manchin, you right there real close to the bomber. So you say whatever is required.
Yeah, I do believe that you've been saying that for a long time, Rob. And after watching that same documentary I was talking about, there is a part where they left Mike Pence like notes, like basically like we watching you or some shit like that. And hell, that would be enough to scare my black ass.
Here's the trouble with being white when they finally turn on you. That's why everybody makes jokes about like if black people in a horror movie that should be 10 minutes, but it's not a lie because white people this is why white people end up in horror movies getting fucked up because y'all are too comfortable being white. You're too comfortable being white. Mike Pence got them notes and was like, mother, who would ever hurt me? That's what that motherfucker thought until they came in there looking for him. And now the dude is so shook, he don't even want to tell nobody. I bet that motherfucker understands rape survivors now. He's like, oh, I get why people who survive assault don't be telling on their fucking assaulter for like 10 years. That motherfucker's like, he's at home and I just being like, fucking lynch me, mother, they were going to.
Like, do you understand what it takes for you to be the recent ex-vice president and the leader and the dude that you was vice president with is still insanely popular and they booing the fuck out of you as shit that you was a champion at before all this happened? Like, that's
before
insane.
That I was a Christian first and then an American. And then boom! Fuck what you was.
This dude can't even be out nowhere with people with his own people though. This is like I remember there's a time when R. Kelly couldn't come back to Chicago, and I was like, yeah, this is where Mike Pence is at right now. Mike Pence cannot go to Indiana barbecue right now unless it's in his own 55 and older community backyard. That's the only spot this dude can go. While that's happening, his boy Donald Trump is out there trying to tell on himself. Dude,
oh my God.
Multiple times, him and his son.
Yeah, him and Eric. Eric is out there saying dumb shit too. They got this dude, his company is straight up paying for people's schools, dog. Paying for people's schools, their cars. Weisselberg's kid worked at a fucking ice skating rink in New York and in Manhattan. They set this motherfucker with an apartment across the street. In
Manhattan.
Here's how it was described to me. It was described to me as imagine if you work for a company and you got a regular check, right, with the tax and shit taken out. But then you go down to the front desk of the company and just ask for a bag of money. And then they just gave you that bag of money that made up for what you lost in your check.
Oh, my God.
But then they wrote off all the check and the bag of money, too.
And then they kept a record of both.
Yeah, they kept 2 records.
Right, so you could know the difference.
They kept a record for the one people that had to check it, that you had to make your shit look bad for, that looked bad, and they had a record that was like, here's what's really going on.
It's crazy to me. And maybe these are the guys who don't get caught. Maybe these are the Bill Clintons of the world who do all kind of dastardly shit, but never actually gets caught on the ledger. That they have to keep 2 books. You keep the dirty book in your head, motherfucker. You keep the dirty book where nobody can get it but you, in your fucking brain. Even if it's a big dirty book, you keep that motherfucker in your head.
The problem with even power greedy or greedy motherfuckers is part of that greed is an organizational level that requires them to be on everything. They need to know even the dirty shit that's going on because you're working with thieves.
Yeah.
And when you're working with thieves, you need to keep track of you have to keep track of all the stolen money because if a thief can snake a little bit, he's gonna snake a little bit. That's the problem.
Yeah. You stealing and you gotta stop the motherfuckers that's helping you steal from stealing from you because they steal too.
The crazy shit was when Trump was at that rally and he literally said the crimes that he committed out loud. And they're just like, you basically just like, here's a crime that I did. And they get mad at you because you do a crime. I mean, all it was a little crime.
And everybody would have been on his side until he said, because you got another house, because your other house is too far away. Like, motherfuckers like, wait a minute, bitch, I got one house.
Listen, his son No, you said Eric, but I think Junior said this. He was like, "Yeah, my dad paid for the guy's kids' schools because he's a good guy."
Yeah, he's a
it's
good
like,
guy.
nah, nigga, like that's an employee compensation. You can't just do that. Like you can do it, but you have to like show that that's compensation.
Yeah, that's the
to be
problem. It's
considered.
like you can do it and show it as compensation, but they didn't. In fact, not only did they not do it, they kept track of it as something they did in the back end.
Because if it was
told
all
the IRS, like, no, we ain't giving no money.
the fucked up thing is, if they weren't doing it in some kind of leverage type of situation with them, they could have wrote the shit off anyway as a charitable donation, because that's what he was trying to make it sound like. He was like, yeah, he wanted to help the guy out. He was being charitable or whatever. Like, there's a write-off for that. They could have taken a write-off for that and not done it, but these motherfuckers are so dirty that they still did it in a dumb fucking way.
Well, you know, it's interesting. There's a weird collision I see happening because obviously Trump is back on the road again because he's testing to see if he's got the mustard to run again, right? Like I know he's checking to see like what's the temperature like.
Everybody still like me,
and he can't be on. You know, what we're gonna talk about next. He's not on any of the social media, so if he's not out doing rallies, ain't nobody gonna hear from him. He took the website down. That Appa's boy Jason Miller, the guy who slipped his mistress a Plan B pill without her knowing. The guy who started that app, he started an app called Getter. That thing's already been hacked, and people are flooding it with porn and shit like that. Sonic the Hedgehog porn on there that they flooded.
We talked about this last week, but I can't remember if I mentioned that when they uploaded the app or whatever, they uploaded it with the code.
Yeah, they gave the code out when they fucking it was just garbage. You know what I mean? So
but, I mean, yeah, everybody knew it was gonna get hacked right out the gate because in
the meantime, to try and get himself live, he is suing Facebook, Twitter, and Google over First Amendment violations, which I know how the First Amendment works, and it's not like that.
You can't sue a corporation for your First Amendment rights. The corporation owes you no First Amendment right. You have no First Amendment.
You want to know what's even crazier? Because we've decided that corporations are people, Twitter actually has its own First Amendment right. So Twitter has a First Amendment right to allow you to say or not say anything. That is actually their First Amendment right as a company. And so, like, this is a fundraising opportunity for him. He's got to raise money to fight this lawsuit because he's got other people who have money who've also been banned from these sites. And so he's saying, we're going to file a class action lawsuit. I just need you to donate so we can get the best lawyers on this. And people are going to send in money. And then he's going to tell people it was a certain amount of money, but they're going to do that about money because that's how he operates.
And nobody going to get paid. The people who I don't see why suckers keep signing up to work for the dude.
I don't get it. It's literally for a chance at their name and fame. Like that's got to be what it is. That's got to be what
I'm just saying, because he is horrible at paying people. That's why he keep getting horrible people. That's why they keep doing stuff like making crime that you could have avoided.
I think that it's weird to me that people get clientele and shit off of it, but there is something about, I guess if you're a nobody lawyer, like if you're a lawyer that maybe is smart enough to be the next level up, but you're sloppy or you don't have the professional standing, whatever. Working with Trump will get you in an upper echelon of shitty Republican fucking credentials. Like
you use it because your name is out there, and now you got somebody. Now you can go meet somebody at an event or a gala somewhere, and you can find them and move yourself on. Hopefully, before you get. Yeah, I'm sure the idea is I'll get in there and I'll do some shit, and then I'll try and get out before it gets too crazy. Right? I'll find another gig and I'll slide out there and I'll use it just as a quick leverage. I'll be there for 6 months or whatever. People are in and out of the organization all the time. I'll move in, I'll make a couple of contacts, blah, blah, blah.
By the way, a little behind the scenes to anybody who's watching and they see me keep touching lights and shit. My teeth look like my mouth was bleeding in my monitor this entire show, and I couldn't figure out why. And I wasn't.
This is the portion of the show where X gets so high he has to start breaking down the fourth wall.
If you're
watching crazy while I'm touching the side of the screen, I gotta tell him.
Yeah, he broke the wall down just like the
whole. Like, I've been doing this a lot. I gotta let him know what's happening. So
let me show you why.
I don't know if you guys can see it, but I can see it on the feed. My mouth looked red the whole fucking show because there was a red light. I had my spotlights too close, and whatever the red light was hitting my mouth, and it looked. And I was like, "Why the fuck does it look like that?" I was like, kind of touching my teeth and shit while you were talking, trying to figure out what was going on. Like, am I fucking breathing?
High, nigga. That's all.
Yeah, I know. It was. I had to move the light. And sorry.
Speaking of getting hit in the light, it's getting hit in the mouth. Wells Fargo is shutting down personal lines of credit. For everybody, it's no longer offering the product. They're shutting them down the next couple of weeks. The lines of credit were between $3,000 and $100,000, which is a lot of money, especially consolidating debt. So this is what a lot of people did to consolidate debt to make sure that happened. Here's the craziest part about it. They send out this thing to customers that said account closures may have an impact on your credit score.
Man, it's possible.
You may possibly fall asleep at some point too. You know what I mean? Like,
the thing that's fucked up. I mean, everybody's saying Wells Fargo needs to do something about that, but like literally, that Wells Fargo can do something with the credit bureaus, but the credit bureaus themselves can also do something about that. Like clearly, I understand it's an algorithm, whatever, but just like it's an algorithm, there could be software or something put in to correct that for people, because if the bank just makes this fucking unilateral, that's what I want, makes this unilateral decision without any kind of customer input or opportunity to do whatever, there has to be some kind of there should be. Now whether there will be or not, you know, it's banks fucking over people is not a
they smear shit on the wall. I'm say that.
But I mean, you know, the reality, and here's the thing that I think that to explain, because we were talking about this before the show. If you have a $40,000 credit limit from Wells Fargo and you spent $20,000 maybe fixing up some shit, paying off some credit or whatever, it looks better for your credit to have that $20,000 cushion you got sitting out there, even if you're paying down. And it's also showing you got another credit line. You got this high amount of available credit or total available credit that you could get to at some point if you whittle it down. Now you scratch out that $40,000 and you owe $20,000 that you're still paying on. Your credit score ends up looking a lot worse when that happens. And that's the issue that I think people are. And I mean, I'm sure, you know, Wells Fargo is a major bank, but you're an economics guy, X. Is this like a sign of a real problem for Wells Fargo?
Yes.
Are they all right? Or
the last time this happened? You know when the last time this happened?
No.
Late August or early September 2008.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought you guys
we'll make your money now.
There we go.
Get ready for some bullshit.
It's like one of the things I was talking about with the 4th of July weekend, man. We talked about it on the show last week, Bobby, last Thursday night. We went to go hang out and nobody was out at restaurants and stuff. And we immediately attributed that to quote unquote people not working or the job crisis or whatever. But there's something different going on right now. And so this happened on Father's Day. I mean, I know Father's Day isn't Mother's Day and people don't go out like crazy, but I got Chinese food on Father's Day and I went to pick up the stuff, and the Chinese restaurant that I went to was not only was it completely empty, the parking lot was like it was a ghost town. The whole fucking little area was.
Maybe people are staying at home because it's 5 billion degrees outside all of a sudden, or it's you know, flooding over, or pipelines are blowing up in the middle of the Gulf of Mexico.
I don't know.
Dude, did you see that shit down there? The Gulf of Mexico?
Yeah, that shit, dude. They opened up the gate to hell. That
damn.
Yeah. Where they proved the existence of Beelzebub. That shit looked crazy.
Yeah, that shit was insane. Because if you look at the picture, you're like,
I bet you that calamari was amazing.
What's that?
I bet you the calamari there was fucking awesome.
Where you look at the picture, like, oh, it's a low ring of fire, but then you look at what's behind it and you see an oil rig there. And I don't know if you've ever seen or a work rig, if you've ever seen how big those fucking things are in person, but those hold a lot of fucking people on them, dude. Like that's not just like a 3-person rig out there. That's a rig that holds a lot of fucking people. That fire is huge in that water.
Yeah.
That shit is huge. And, you know, the concern I have is just it seems like we are, you know, we've got these Exxon people that are lobbying like crazy and trying to control what's being done as far as fuel goes. And we've got these guys here doing this. the Pacific Northwest, it got so hot in the Pacific Northwest that a bunch of shellfish fucking died.
Yeah, they were cooking. They were cooking in their shells. They were cooking in their own shells.
Yeah, by the millions. Up by Portland and Vancouver, by the millions, these shellfish were dying. They actually declared it a mass casualty event in the Pacific Northwest because even like cable and wiring for the electric company were like burning up and splitting. And it's I mean I don't know if we got I don't know if we got a shot. You know what I mean? Like I'm not littering. I keep my fucking I have a recycling bin.
I got two.
I don't know if that's gonna
Hey man, we were just talking about today. I was worried about my carbon footprint this morning. And we were discussing dudes in the hood who worry about their carbon footprint. Man, dude, I got grandbabies. I need them to be able to be here and dominate shit.
Yeah, I mean, it's the combination of what we've already done to the place and like the fact that there are still financial entities that are still fighting to keep fucking shit up and not just like getting like I was explaining to teaching somebody about solar and I'm like, we have enough available land that we could create solar power to power everything. Like it's no problem. It's no problem. Like Shannon Sharp said,
and it's desert.
It's no problem.
Desert.
There's so much room. I've been through Wyoming. There's room and sun. Even in the wintertime, there's enough. You could power enough. You could pipe that energy. It would have to be cheaper than what the fuck is going on now. It would have to be. There's no fucking way. Because like the reason why solar is only limited now is because we're just putting it on roofs. That's it. That's the only reason is because there's only so much roof you can give to somebody. But outside of that, if you just put that shit in fields and just like we're just gonna flood the areas with power. There would be no problem.
Giant billboard-sized panel, like rows of giant billboard-sized panels, super panels.
Some of that out west.
Yeah, there are some of those places out west that are like that, and I think you're going to have to see more of it because, you know, it's not all on like it's the average individual are not producing the problem. These giant corporations are producing the problem, but they're also stuck to their guns on a lot of this shit. And, you know, we're seeing a lot of crazy weather start to really kick off and we're not learning much from it. So we should.
Man, there was almost 3 tornadoes in my neck of the woods just a week and a half ago. So
man, when I was driving home from your crib the other day, I'm like, am I going to make it? My goodness. Especially when I seen the sign that said playing field. I'm like, oh, yeah. They come here all the time.
You saying your son to Howard now? Is that what you?
That is the plan, baby. How it's the vice president going there for us. But we Howard is the goal.
Yeah, I mean, this week Nicole Hannah-Jones, who was she's one of the people who's behind the 1619 project.
The primary person behind 1619.
Yeah, she's the primary person behind it. That's the primary worker behind the 1619 project. Was having issues with achieving tenure at the University of North Carolina. It had been a long, prolonged fight. They finally buckled and had offered it to her. And it was right in time for her to turn that shit down and take the tenure at Howard University instead, which I think is an amazing.
And I don't know if you know this part, she also bringing along Ta-Nehisi Coates.
Yes.
Ta-Nehisi Coates is also joining, man. That faculty is dope. Like, hey, man, me and my son have never had a conversation about him doing anything with like journalism or creative writing or anything like that. But I'm like, hey, man, maybe that's a discussion we should have.
I mean, I want to go back to college now.
I'm just saying, look, I got somebody send me some in my inbox, one of these many inboxes that I cannot keep up with. But somebody sent me something where they had a video of Terrell Owens sticking somebody at Jackson State or getting stuck by somebody at Jackson State. He told the man's ass was still sitting on the field when he walked out. But the good thing was Terrell Owens was there, and so was Neon Dion because he's the coach of the team.
Right.
I'm saying it's starting to be an investment in us from us that is going to change. It's going to be a cosmic shift of the energy.
If anybody looks at Nicole Hannah-Jones's her statement on why she chose Howard and chose to leave UNC, it's mega dope and it's full of love and it's full of like basically to sum up what she said, she's like, these institutions treat us as if we should be honored or feel lucky that they have decided to accept us. And I don't need them. Like, Howard is a place I'd much rather be. It's
Right.
Like I love. She's like, I had love for UNC. She went to grad school at UNC. She did a lot of work and mentorship at UNC, and she didn't even ask for the job at UNC. They recruited her for it. It wasn't like she was like came in begging or some shit like that. They recruited her and then tried to snatch the tenureship from under her. So yeah, I think her move to Howard is super dope. Just to give people some other background on Howard. Howard was the first historically black college university to get a 5-star basketball recruit just 2 years ago. Unfortunately, COVID fucked up his season, so we really didn't get to see what he could do. But he's going to be in the league next year. I cannot think of his name right now, but he's going to be. I'm pretty sure he's going to go early in the draft, upcoming draft. And Howard's it's on the move, man. Like, there's a bunch of really great HBCUs. My sisters went to Spelman. I have two brother-in-laws that went to Morehouse. I love the whole HBC system.
We're killing in some other areas too. Down in Memphis, there is a community that was dealing with a crude oil pipeline that was trying to come through its neighborhood. This is a black community down in Memphis that fought this tooth and nail, and they finally scrapped the plans for it. Which is, it's hard. One, it's hard setting up to a pipeline no matter what the fuck you got going on.
Yeah.
But two, you're in a like a rural, probably underfunded black community, and they've been at this for months. I mean, this been a months-long thing they've been fighting for here to get this done.
I need Shonda Rhimes to write a movie about it.
Right, this is gonna be. That for sure is going to be a thing that happens. That'll be the move as far as that goes.
Hey, they have the Black Aaron Brockovich film,
right? The other thing I want to talk about before we got down to the last couple of bits in here, did you see that thing that happened in, I think it was Maryland or Massachusetts, the rise of the Moors, the armed militia?
No.
This black armed militia that was
I
down
didn't see this.
Oh yeah, 11 armed men who had a 9-hour standoff with Massachusetts State Police on I-95 over the weekend. I mean, they didn't break any laws. They had a bunch of firearms and tactical gear. Someone just saw a bunch of niggas riding through.
Wait a second, those dudes was black. I saw that story and I was confused. I was like, were they on their way to go do something? Because I didn't read the whole story because I was like, oh, they got a bunch of white dudes with the guns. What's the thing? That's a weekend trip. What's going on? Now it makes sense why that shit was such a big story because it was a crew of black. I did not. I should have read that now.
Hey, listen to this one. This guy said, quote, "I am a free Moor, a national, a free living man. The man known only as John Doe No. 1 told the judge Tuesday. He was eventually removed from the court for repeatedly interrupting legal proceedings." I like these guys already. These are my boys.
Yeah, the part of the Morris thing is that they feel like they can prove that the government doesn't have jurisdiction over them.
Yeah, I mean, so the quote was, I guess, let me see, the leader, former U.S. Marine, of course, Jamal Sanders Latimer, goes by the name Jamal Talib Abdullah Bey. He said, "We're not anti-government, we're not anti-police, we're not sovereign citizens, we're not black identity extremists. As specified multiple times to the police, we are abiding by the peaceful journey laws of the United States federal courts." In other words, we got rights to carry guns like y'all got rights to carry guns. We got rights to go off in the forest and do our shit like y'all do. Y'all go off in the woods and do your shit. Nobody comes and fucks with y'all. Why you fuck with us? Like, leave us the fuck alone. I'm a big fan of these guys already, I think. They're probably not dark enough to be in the crew, but I like those are my people.
Yeah, they'll probably figure you the police.
It was July 4th last week, and I think one of the weirdest stories that came out of July 4th, and it's a sad story, but it's wild because there's a goalie for the Blue Jackets, the Columbus Blue Jackets named Matisse Kevlineks. He died of chest trauma from a firework mortar. And I think the craziest part of the story is this. I mean, I don't know if you heard the name. The dude is not from here. He's a foreigner. He's from, I had where he was. I think it was from Liga. But like, to me, that's of all this, like when Paul Pierre blew off his hand, I was like, well, dudes from here, American dudes be blowing off their shit with fireworks all the time. It's crazy that not like, imagine that story going back to the homeland. You know what I mean? They got to be like, you do not go to America. What?
Yeah.
You said one guy to America.
America would kill you.
It's a crazy. It's just to me. It just seemed like a wild. It's like what a weird.
Hey,
also, as a life
canceled.
story. What a weird life story. You know what I mean?
We're gonna get canceled in 20 years. Someone's gonna play this back and go, "Did you hear him doing the accents? Did you hear him?"
Yeah, they're definitely gonna make fun of me for doing the accent.
I didn't do one, so I'm good.
I did do the accent. That's probably gonna get me in some trouble at some point. I will admit that that's probably the case. There'll be no fans at the Olympics. That's a thing that happened. COVID is still real. I don't know if we covered that yet, but COVID is still real. So no fans at the Olympics. You're watching the NBA Finals, right? Are you watching the NBA?
Oh yeah,
I watched a little bit.
Dude, I mean,
you gotta watch a lot of it. Shit is Chris Paul is out there playing video games
yesterday.
on these.
He was getting it done. Like
I think it's like, and I'm a fan. I like underdogs. I think Toure came out with a post at one point when we were down to the last four, and was talking about how there'd be a problem if it was Phoenix and Milwaukee because they're worried. If you're worried about viewership, you don't want that. You want LA versus Atlanta. And viewership is up in game one for sure over last year. It's not quite where it was in a couple previous years, but like it's up, which means obviously there's interest because there's live action going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know that they're talking about markets because LA is a market, but I wish they'd stop counting LA as a market. I'm not 100% sure about this, but I think pound for pound, Chicago battles LA for viewership, and LA is much bigger than Chicago because people in LA don't watch shit.
Yeah,
they go outside because it's fucking beautiful. Like
it's not all together false.
Yeah, like that's why all the sitcoms are based in the Midwest because like nobody would spend that much time with the people. You just go to the fucking beach or the desert. But anyway, the market thing, I understand them saying because those are smaller markets. Phoenix is a small market, Milwaukee is a small market, but I think Giannis and Chris Paul are both compelling stars, man.
I think the marketing of that the NBA has done with the actual athletes and like, I brought this up a few times and people I don't think pay like real good attention to it, but like the NBA is a league where very few of its athletes get in trouble for anything. They had a bunch of shit going on in the early 2000s. And they did two things. They pivoted to focusing on the players and elevating Black people through organizations. And they focused on getting rid of anybody who was causing turmoil that would make the league look bad. They did both those things. Remember fights used to be buck wild with Ron Artest and Steven Jackson in the league. It was in the stands, literally crazy. And they Ron and
Malice at the Palace
choking motherfuckers and shit. Like they literally they slowly eased all that shit out of there to where that is not it is not what's happening. They gave Black people power in that industry and throughout the organizations. They elevated them and they found good character people and they really worked on like teaching rookies from the time you came into the league how to control your life and your money. And what they're reaping from it now is guys like Chris Paul, who's been around the league for 16 years and is nothing but sturdy as a person, right? Like this dude is the State Farm pitch man. You recognize this dude from one of the biggest Fortune 100 companies you're going to find, right? And the other guy is Giannis Antetokounmpo, who's an immigrant from Greece, who is a two-time NBA MVP, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you got stories here.
Giannis Antetokounmpo, who's so good that he has three other brothers in the league who are mediocre, but motherfucking teams keep him just for a shot at maybe getting a chance of having him come play for their team. That's how
maybe these guys catch fire. Maybe
maybe that shit sprinkles. Maybe he's a late bloomer. That shit's gonna kick in at 24, 25.
And it's like, of course you're gonna watch that. These are decent men, right? Like you're watching guys, you're going like. They're like, I may not like how he plays, but like, it's not like he's beating his girlfriend. It's not like he's been suspended 15 times for drug abuse. It's not like he's out there breaking. Like all this guy wants to say is Black Lives Matter and let's play ball. I think I'm into that.
My brother-in-law and sister-in-law both rooting for opposite sides. My sister-in-law primarily is rooting because she wants to see Chris Paul get a ring. And my brother-in-law is like, fuck that. It's the Midwest. I want Milwaukee to win.
Yeah, I can understand that. I feel the same way. I'd love to see Chris Paul get a ring. I think Giannis will have more chances, but also, I currently do live in Milwaukee. So.
I was about to say, I spent a lot of time in Milwaukee. I got a lot of good friends that are rooting for the Bucks in Milwaukee. At least one, if not two, who watch this show. And so I'm rooting for the Bucks.
It'd be not. I mean, here's the thing. It's a no-lose situation.
Chris Paul gets a ring. I ain't gonna get mad. I'm not gonna be mad if Chris Paul gets a ring. And
the last thing I want to talk about before we get out of here. I don't know if people have, I'm sure, forgotten about Juvenile for the most part in a lot of the world. But when the songs come on, the words always come right back. He just got a new one out. He is.
I've seen that.
He's got a song out called "Backs That Thing Up," which, you know, I said earlier today. I don't know who has been anti-vax this whole time, but then saw this and was just like,
now
okay, I guess
the whole Magnolia, baby.
Hey,
the whole Magnolia, baby.
But somewhere down in New Orleans, somebody saw that and was like, well, Juvenile getting the vaccine.
Yeah, young Juvie said get that vaccine, baby. I'm getting that vaccine. I'm trying to do a New Orleans vaccine.
They did a video and everything. They got a whole video and everything, man.
Dude, here's the thing. Somebody posted that and I was like, well, they just backed that thing up. And I was like, wait, did he say vax? Hold on. I didn't listen to the lyrics at first. I just thought it was the regular one. And I was like, okay. Well, I said, whoa. Did he say fax? Rewind. Oh shit. I just lost my mind.
Well, listen, man, we got a show tonight, and I gotta take a goddamn shower before we get in there because I've been on the road. Where are you at this week, buddy?
This week coming up, Wednesday I'm somewhere. Thursday I'm in Canada on TV and or on video online, and Friday I'm somewhere else. No, yeah, XL Comedy on Twitter and right now Twitter.
Well, tomorrow he gonna be with me here at Crackers Comedy Club in the state of Indiana.
Yes, I am. I will be there tomorrow.
That's where I will be. You can find me on all social media as Robert_L_Hines.
And I'm at Crackers tonight here in Indianapolis. If you ain't down here by now, your ass is probably too late. So start driving to Rockford right now. I'll be at Love's Park at the Windsor Pizza Parlor for the patio session tomorrow night with Lucia Whalen. And then later this month, I'll be up in Wauwatosa, Wisconsin, right outside of Milwaukee. Headlining show up there is going to be pretty amazing. More details at Mocha_Jesus. Get over to the show at New OG's Pod. Find People of Comedy at People of Comedy and People of Comedy Network.
Like and subscribe.
We did this shit on the road, baby. We made it happen. We back here next week. That's it. We're out of here. That's what's up.
Now you falling. I'ma zigzag through the gang like we're smoking on trees. Niggas won't work unless they pay a fee. Diamonds, they smell sand cheese. Can't find too many better than me. All about getting cheddar and D. Guala, mozzarella, parmesan cheese. Say you ballin', but not in my league. Say you ballin', but not in my league. Yeah, whole lot.